Welcome everybody to episode 3 of Stay a While and Listen with me and Sonia. How you doing today, Sonia?
Very good. How are you?
I am doing alright. We got a series of questions set up here that our friend Chris Dindo sent to me on my one of my videos. It was the last, actually, episode of Stay a While and Listen. We're going to get through as many of them as we can today. Basically, the way it's going to work is I am going to answer the question, and then she'll answer the question, whatever that question is. However long or short it takes us to do so is the way it's going to work. And I'll just go ahead and start off by asking said questions. So, number 1, Sonia. Space travel. Should we be focusing our resources on making Earth better? Is there a remote chance that human beings will survive long enough to even become an interplanetary species?
Well, humans are kind of destructive, so no matter where they go, they're going to destroy it. You know, we've already destroyed many things here. We destroy each other. It's already getting dark, but that's how I feel. I think we could get there, but it would mean unity to get there to anywhere, really. But, yeah. What was the question?
So the question is, basically, should we be focusing our energy and resources on making Earth better, or space travel, or some combination? Chiron, stop it.
I think it could be both. You know, you gotta progress. You know, we have to progress as a species. So we could do both. But it's all about choices, you know?
Definitely.
People aren't good at making choices. What do you think?
Well, you know, I had talked about this on a video previously on the X-Files. I'm sorry, I always say that because I'm a giant dork. Goofus Maximus, as you call me. Yeah. But essentially, Elon Musk even says this in his own personal philosophy. We want to wake up day to day having something to look forward to. You know, one of those things being that maybe in the future we'll actually be stepping foot on Mars. We want to be excited. We want to have wonder for the future. And while it is very important to improve the lot of everybody here on Earth, remember that during the time that Columbus sailed the ocean blue back in 1492, there were wars all across Europe at that time. And he was commissioned by, you know, Portugal. I think it was Portugal. I can't remember if it was Portugal or Spain. I'll have to look that up. It's kind of an important piece of history I need to know. But it was one of those two, and it didn't matter. He needed to do this. The discovery, the wonder of it was, it could very well have been something that, while there was a lot of damage that was done to the New World, just accidentally, with viruses and stuff that we brought over to them. We didn't mean to hurt them, but it happened. We may very well have saved everybody in Europe because they had something else to look forward to aside from hurting one another. So who knows? But we can't be stuck on this planet. And, you know, again, like I was saying in a previous video, Elon Musk, being one of those people at the tip of the spear, is sprinting, basically, to get us there, because he knows there's a shit ton of infrastructure to build and all of that stuff, and he only lives 100 years at most. He's already in his mid-50s. So it's very important. I think we need to focus more time and energy on space travel, but we're on the right path right now. So. Alright. Question 2 you did not want to talk about, so we'll skip that one. Question 3. What concerns are there about AI and the potential lack of human interaction in the future?
Isolation. You know, we're really good at isolating ourselves. Supposed to use technology to communicate, but we're not really, you know. It used to be good, like, how many years ago? Maybe 2005 or 2006 when, like, YouTube and that was started to become a thing. you know, people weren't really obsessed with it. I'm quite obsessed with it now, you know. But I found you, so it does have its good sides. But yeah, isolation is the biggest thing. But again, that all leads down to choices. You can choose to partake or interact, or you can, you know, you do it in any form really. But yeah, in person is always better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with you. I think you and I are on the same page with that. We even talked about it a little bit ago about AI competition, right? And I made a video on that on my channel talking about that. It's going to go both ways. It's going to go that way for men and for women. If you can't get the fulfillment that you seek from a significant other that is organic, you may very well go to something like Replica. Have you heard of Replica?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and try to get it there. Like the guy who just recently pseudo got married to his ChatGPT girlfriend when he was already married in real life. So that was his own problem, in that whether it's fake or real, it doesn't matter all that much in that case. You don't even consider marrying something that isn't your wife, right? Unless that's part of the contract. And he never established that with his wife, you know? So...
Icky.
What?
Icky.
Icky, yeah. I mean, he was seeking, obviously, more of an emotional connection than a physical one, because you can't be with a computer, right? But even so, that's emotional. Chiron, get on your mat. Stop it. Why? Sorry. That's emotional cheating, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. That's question 3. 4, you didn't want to talk about. 5, health. The best common practices to achieve and maintain good health.
I wouldn't really know. I guess persistence, you know? Persevering. You know, exercise, pushing through it, even when you're broken, like me and you. You know, keep getting those checkups and always be your own advocate, because no one's going to fight for you like you will. You know, you gotta get a second, third, fourth opinion on everything, like I had to. And even then, don't just keep, like, it's common sense, really. But it's all choice. I'm going to say everything is choices, because it is. You can choose to eat a burger, or you can choose to eat a salad. It's your choice. It's your life. If you don't prioritize you, then that's your choice. You gotta take care of you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's deferral of gratification, I would say.
Yep.
Right. One of the highest priorities when it comes to taking care of yourself physically. Like, that burger might taste delicious, but it's going to clog your arteries. Whereas, like you were saying, the salad might not taste the best, but you can make them taste really good. You know, keep on doing your little chemistry experiments and whatnot to try to find the best combination of chemicals and materials to make the tastiest food that's the best for you. Kind of like what's talked about in a lot of science fiction novels, like nutrition pills and stuff like that, or Soylent Green, but don't do Soylent Green because that's people. But you get my point. Yeah, I have peripheral vascular disease. I call it crucifixion disease to get everybody to really pay attention to it, because it has all the hallmarks of it. Somebody like St. Padre Pio had the crucifixion, right? And I have something similar, but I don't have, like, the wounds. You can't see them. Yeah. It's all internal. Yeah. But all the arteries were obliterated in my distal arms and legs. Doctors don't know how it happened. So that's my disability. And then Sonia has her own difficulties as well. If she wants to talk about them, she can. I'm not going to speak for her. But, you know, you got to muscle through that stuff. It isn't something that's necessarily going to go away. It isn't something that's necessarily within your control. But control the variables that are. And yeah, one of those variables is your attitude at the top of that list, and also the effort that you can put in. You look at the things that are within your sphere, and you control those variables, one of those being your diet. So, now, strangely enough, and I think it's kind of similar with you, Sonia, you were telling me a little bit about it, despite my weight, I'm 220 American pounds, freedom units. That's right, freedom units. Anyway, despite my weight, the caloric needs of my body are very low. Not because I'm not moving around, but for some reason my body just doesn't need very many calories, and it's probably because my arms and legs don't consume as much because they don't get as much blood flow. But for that reason, I have to be especially careful with how much I eat. I still have to watch how much I eat. It's very strange, considering how much I weigh. But you deal with what you got. And that's what I got. I went from running marathons to barely being able to walk. What'd you say?
The damn skibbity.
The damn skibbity. Skibbity toilet. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't.
I don't even know what that means, honestly. I just say it to
I will leave. Do not start.
I believe I can fly. Alright, let's see.
You could fly.
Well, I mean, yeah, quite literally. It flew giant metal birds, but, you know, that's neither here nor there at the moment. What's up?
Nothing.
Alright, number 6. Bitcoin. Just chatting about Bitcoin. I'll let you start.
Nope.
Why not?
Thank you. Nope, and I'm absolutely ignorant by choice on the topic, so please teach me.
Oh, this is something that one should not be ignorant on. What is the reason? What's the reason for which you decided to be ignorant about Bitcoin?
Not a priority in my life right now.
Well, I can understand that. I definitely can understand that. When we're trying to prioritize family and relationships and love and stuff like that, money is secondary. Absolutely. Totally get that. And that is smart. But Bitcoin represents something that could completely upend the finance and banking systems of our world. And as such, get us out of this metastasis, this disordered system that is hurting so many people. If you look at the trends for the income disparity between CEOs or let's just say this, the disparity between productivity and pay that people get nowadays. If you look back in 1971, that's where the dipping point started, and that's actually, you can find these on graphs everywhere. That's where Nixon took the United States off of the gold standard.
Yeah.
This was the second and final step, or probably third, I guess, to completely decouple us from a sound financial system. So the first step was to get the Federal Reserve put into place. The second step was to get the IRS put into place to tax us into oblivion. And the third step was to decouple the currency from a stable backing, which was gold and silver. When all those three things happen, kind of like an unholy trinity, you look at the graph after 1971, and our productivity is skyrocketing still, but our pay is flatlined. So what that means is that the richest are becoming richer, and that is because they can use leverage irresponsibly and unreasonably. The average person who isn't considering using leverage but instead building something with the sweat of their own brow and pulling themselves up from their own bootstraps, they're not going to get the multiples of increased wealth. They're not thinking about that. They're just trying to be good people, good stewards of the world around them, and make something of value, leave a decent legacy and all that. Very few of us necessarily want to be humongous historical figures or anything like that. Most of us just want to live our lives and be happy and be left alone. Well, the central banks have basically made it so we cannot do that. It's been 112 years since that happened, And it came to a head in our generation. If it had not been for those 3 things that happened, then productivity and income would have increased at the same rate. And you and I, instead of me making, say, $100K a year, I'd be making more like $400K a year and be living like a king of kings, right? I already live pretty well because I manage my money well, but I wouldn't have to worry about a damn thing had the central banks not been there. Same with you. Same with all of us. And because we're so ephemeral and we don't live very long, right, we can't see the long-term plan that these bastards behind the scenes have, which is to turn us into slaves. That is not an exaggeration. It's not a joke, and you know that. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but that is the crux of everything that they're doing. They want to make it so that we have no wealth, and so that they have all of it. They want to put us in the pods and make us eat the bugs. And central banking has allowed for all of that. Bitcoin is an opportunity to upend all of that. Because it is a finite resource. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin in existence. It's based upon immutable mathematics. You can't be subjective about it. It is objective, black and white. Either the number is 1 or it's not, right? Or 2 or it's not, blah, blah, blah. So it cannot be stolen, or very, very difficult to hack into a person's Bitcoin wallet. It can be stolen if you leave your wallet on the table or something, right? That's the equivalent of leaving your private key out in the open. It is portable, more than any currency we've ever had, any money we've ever had. And yeah, it's basically gold on trenbolone. You know what trenbolone is?
No, but I know what you're saying.
No, but what?
I know, but I'm aware of what you're saying. I forget what you mean.
Okay. Well, trenbolone is basically super steroids. So you got steroids, which is like testosterone and stuff, right? Anavar, all that. I know this stuff because I listened to Derek for More Plates, More Dates. And then you got trenbolone, which is basically 10 times as powerful, no exaggeration, as testosterone. It drives you, makes you super, super strong and super, super angry all the time.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's the way to stay away from that.
I don't think I'll be near it.
Yeah. But I say that as kind of an exaggeration to be in jest. But Bitcoin, you could say, is solid currency or solid money on trenbolone.
Okay.
Super money.
Fair enough.
So I strongly recommend you look into that for those reasons, okay? It's a very good idea. You don't have to spend $10,000 a month buying it or what have you. Just go to Coinbase, get yourself set up with an account, and maybe buy $50 a month of it. Just have something. Because if you do that, even if it never turns out to be much money for you, you are contributing to a very good movement. A movement in sound money that will give you everything that you want for our future. Alright. Okay. So that's number 6. Number 7. Discussing some of the books you guys have read would be cool. What would be on the list of must-reads for you? I'll let you start.
Well, this one.
Thank you, Sonia.
Your book is the first one that I've read in a long time. I would have just been reading my dad would just give you all of his old books because I prefer to write rather than read. But yours intrigued me, so I bought into it. But yeah, anything that my dad would give me, so any John Grisham or Stephen King, Dad is obsessed with them probably more. But yeah, just have a big tower filled with them. But yeah, your book is my favorite. I think that's what you.
Okay. For me, I have difficulty actually parsing out or picking a certain book or series of books that I like most of all. I like pretty much everything that I read, aside from a handful of books, right? Because I self-filter. I look at what people are saying about books. I look at synopsis of books and stuff like that before I decide to jump into them. And I know that I'm already going to probably have a decent attraction to the book before I even start reading it. Mm-hmm. But there are books that you could read that'll make you a better, a stronger thinking individual, a better man, a better woman, more well-rounded, more of a Renaissance person. And among those are books like Letters of a Stoic by Seneca, or Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. There's a lot of books from Stefan Molyneux, who's also he's a modern-day philosopher, that he's written that are pretty good. His Universally Preferable Behavior, I read a while back, is basically a very simplified version of his philosophical work, which is UPB, Universally Preferable Behavior. It's a secular way to explain morality, and it's written in such a way that a 14-year-old could easily understand it. And he even says that he writes it simply, intentionally. And then you have books like Isaac Asimov's Foundation, which is a series of books, and it's a really good one. It inspired a lot of what I wrote in my own novel series, in that it made me encouraged, because it was stuff that I easily understood, and I know that his series of books were very popular. He was one of the best authors to have ever lived. That's no exaggeration. And yet, it was easy for me to comprehend, which meant to me that I could probably write something like that in a book or a series of books. Mm-hmm. So I was inspired by that. Like, hey, this isn't too hard. If I just write even at his level, then I might do okay. Now, mind you, it's not just about writing a decent book. You also have to have people find it. If nobody ever knows that you wrote a book or a series of books, and they could be the best books that were ever written, total masterpieces, but if nobody's ever heard of it, it doesn't make a damn difference. Yep. And as long as I got the variable taken care of ensuring that I was writing something decent at least, then I would let the chips fall where they may after that. And that's why I'm so adamantly trying to find a, what is it called again? A literary agent, as opposed to a publisher. Because a literary agent has a vested interest in ensuring that your book sells. But a publisher just makes money off of publishing your book. Yeah. I didn't realize that before I went into this. If I had known that, I would have searched harder for a literary agent. Now, I'm looking at my book numbers on Amazon day by day right now, and since the audiobook came out, it looks like I'm selling about 50 copies a day of the audiobook, that's really good. But before that, they weren't revealing any of the numbers. They basically said they had only sold 20 copies of my book, and I'm like, what? I gave you guys $10,000 to get this thing published. And this is the check right here. I haven't even cashed it yet because it's so insulting. $100. My first royalty check, $100. So, like I said, you have to be discovered, not just be a good author. So I got the first one taken care of, being a good author. Now it's time to get discovered. A long-winded explanation of that. Alright, number 8. What is the value of art in general, and what impact will AI art have on it?
AI art is very disruptive. It of course will replace many artists. It will. People still like the personal and human touch. So, like going to a gallery, that won't change. But it's still really hard and really competitive to get into a gallery. You know, modern art is insane. But anyway.
Oh my goodness, taping a banana to the wall.
I was thinking of that one.
Yeah.
The only way that I think it could work is if it was a tool used by artists, but then again, it's soulless, you know? There's no creativity. It's soulless, it's heartless. Yeah, it's destructive. I hate it. Yeah, it's someone's passion. And, you know, a computer should not, or a device or program should not be able to encroach on that, you know?
I do. Could not agree more. Art is an expression of the soul, right? It's a way of looking into the doorway of a person's eyes without actually being able to see them. And a person like Akiana Krameric comes to mind for me. Have you ever heard of her? She is a child prodigy, has her own YouTube channel, her own website, artakiane.com, but she is an absolutely stunningly good artist. And I know that she paints those paintings because I watch her do it. But when it comes to AI, you can't see the person actually doing the work, you know? And there will come a day where even AI can even simulate a live stream of them acting like they're painting something. There will come a day where they can even do that. But as it stands now, we still have a little bit of a barrier where we can see what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining what's going to happen in, say, 5, 6, 7 years from now, where AI has gotten so advanced, and I think that's probably right around the time frame that we're really going to actually get the singularity. It's not going to be in the next 50 years. It's going to be in the next 5 or 6. But yeah, we're at that turning point right now, and we need to really get to grips with what actual art is, because everybody has. It's there for you to think. Art is supposed to stimulate your mind and your soul, your heart and your soul. So we need to get to grips with what we consider good art and what we don't. And therefore, it's a very good thing that so many people are talking about it right now. I see the banana taped to the wall, which, sadly enough, we will remember forever. So it was art. I'm very sad about that. But they actually accomplished what they were seeking to accomplish. They won't be forgotten. That really put a point on it for everybody else to look at what actual art is. It's kind of a black and white, you know? So, anyway, that's what I think.
Boo. I hate it.
2 out of 10. Would not do again.
Minus 5,000.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, let's see. What are your favorite philosophers? Question 9.
I'm going to put that one back to you. Because I was just going to say Payton Pearson.
You're silly. Well, I don't try to be hoity-toity about it or anything, or put myself on a pedestal, but I guess I am kind of a philosopher. Yeah, my essays are video essays, and they talk philosophy and stuff like that, theology, all sorts of stuff. But that's very kind of you to say, Sonia. Appreciate you.
You don't need to justify it.
But for me, my inspirations are among those that I've already mentioned, like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Aristotle, Friedrich Nietzsche, Jordan Peterson. Even though he's more of a psychologist than a philosopher, he actually has a philosophical mind. Stefan Molyneux that I talked about already. He's rather terse and has that British curtness about him.
Yeah.
But it's okay if you can get past that. It's not a big deal. And of course Jesus, he's the number one. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
And he is indeed a philosopher. Yes, he is. Anybody who says he's not doesn't know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He's God, but yes, he's talking philosophy too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I would say. Of course, you've got Christopher Langan, and I think that's actually what Chris Dindo was trying to allude to with this question. He's one of the smartest guys to have ever lived. He's got an IQ of like 200. It's what he's known for, having a very high IQ. And he's the publisher, the author of the Cognitive Theoretic Model of the Universe, the CTMU, which is also that cult that cult Facebook page you were talking about. We're just kidding, Chris. Langan and Dindo. We're being silly.
I'm not kidding.
What?
I'm not kidding.
But yeah, he's also one of the thinkers of the modern era that I really appreciate. He's a modern philosopher, and just like the smartest guy in the world with an IQ of 276 just came out and said that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life a few days ago, Chris is the same way. He says the same thing essentially. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. They have their priorities straight. They understand. For all their intelligence, it is but a whimper in the face of infinity. And God is infinity. God is love. So I greatly appreciate them for that. Number 10. What are some of the YouTube channels you guys would suggest for news or world news?
The only one that I really partake in is Philip DeFranco.
Philip DeFranco. Okay.
Been following him since like the beginning. I trust his opinion. He's kind of neutral sometimes, unless it involves dastardly acts. I like the way that he and his team works. So that's who I go for, because everyone else has an agenda. Everyone else fearmongers. Everyone else makes people panic. Don't like that. I don't want it. And it will not be in my life.
I love it. I'm going to have to look up Philip DeFranco because I've heard of him, but I've never watched him. So let me write that down here real quick.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else?
No.
Okay. For me, my principal consumption of world news and stuff like that would be Timcast IRL, so Tim Pool. He is a politically moderate individual. He calls himself moderate, slightly left, but he's more moderate, slightly right, I would say. He is an equal opportunity judger, I guess. He will call balls and strikes of both the left and the right, as well as himself and his friends. His friends will do the same thing for him. He actually just had Dave Smith on one of his videos yesterday talking about his thoughts on the Israel-Iran conflict and how Dave Smith intentionally was he was explosive about his perspective about what happened because he wanted to get people's attention, though Dave Smith did say that it's actually looking like it turned out okay, what President Trump did. It wasn't something that anybody wanted necessarily, but the end result is looking okay. So that's one of the sources. Another one is Osmongold, Zach Rahr. He is a politically right, just ever so slightly, not very, because he's got other perspectives, like he believes in universal basic income, and he believes in he thinks people should be allowed to get abortions and stuff like that. Something I don't agree with, but nevertheless, he's very even-tempered in his perspectives on politics and stuff like that, and it's reasonable and logical. I can listen to him.
I know him.
Yeah, I've seen you watch some of his videos. And he calls himself a degenerate. He's self-deprecating intentionally so that you don't take him as a false idol, and I really love that about him. It's a really good thing that he does that. And yeah, he's another one. I also listen to Jeremy at the Quartering. I don't listen to him as much anymore, just because I decided to slow up a little bit on listening to his stuff, watching his videos. But he's a good one. There's also Steven Crowder, who's pretty right. He's probably like right in the middle of the right, right? But he's also right with a libertarian bend. He wants the government as small as possible. He wants us not to be in the forever wars. Pretty much everybody that I listen to and watch is on the same page with that. We are not neocons, not rhinos, not warhawks. We want the death to stop. And I think everybody is like that right now. That isn't an insane psychopath. So I think we're probably butting up towards our time limit here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, we have... What's up?
I was going to ask you how long.
Yeah, it looks like we have less than 1 minute. So
okay, good.
We'll finish the rest of these for the next one.
Yeah.
As always, it's fun chatting with you, Sonia. I'll show you how I did this later, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Deuces, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.